welcome to an Ocean Currents episode here in Washington, D.C. I'm really glad to open this show up to all of you so that you can learn something really cool that a member of the community is working on. So without further ado, could I ask you to please introduce yourself and tell us what you are working on?
I'm Daniel McGauley, and I'm trying to make a movie about the Fisker Ocean story. I'm not a filmmaker, but I used to be a long time ago. Me and my wife got film degrees from UT Austin and worked on quite a few films and realized can't quite make money making films easily. And so I got into software about 1996, and I've just done that since. Paid the bills really nicely, but as I got into the Fisker community and I saw what everybody was doing to help out, how you were helping out, how Mountain Ranger was helping out, I was like, there's something I could probably do. And so just one day it hit me and I just ended up screaming because I knew this was going to be a pain. But, I know how to do this. I can ask the right questions because there's questions that I have. And so I just figured, let's start putting this all together so we don't lose it, because if it's just on blogs and Reddits and stuff, nobody's going to remember. Try to document what the community is doing and get it on film, and I'm hoping somebody else comes to me and says they're already doing this, and so I can just pass off my footage. But until then, I have nice people like Miles, and everybody that I've talked to has been so kind and gave me advice on how to move forward. So I'm here in Washington doing my first interview with you.
I think it's amazing. I think it's really cool, and I'm glad you're here. I think it's something that I've been hoping somebody would do as well. And when you first mentioned this idea to me, it was really cool. And I think a lot of people within FOA, we were all talking about this project that you're undertaking, how important it is and how much it matters to all of us, because we all care about this story a lot. And for other people to take an interest in wanting to document it and tell all sides of the story, I think is fantastic. So you and I have been talking for a few weeks via email and a couple calls and stuff like that. But it seems like you've got a pretty good plan for people you want to interview moving forward and some ideas that you want to cover in the film. And tell me a little bit about who are the next couple people that you want to interview?
Yeah, this has actually been kind of complicated because I wrote down everybody that meant something to me or that I knew of, and the list is long, and so I had to just start grouping it together. One thing that I just didn't really care about is Heinrich or talking to him, because we're past that. This is about what everybody's doing to keep these cars on the road, keep it going, just a community of people having fun. And so I've kind of grouped them into like YouTubers, like Adam Everything EV, Mountain Ranger, a gentleman in Florida, Mike EV Addict.
Yep.
And I'm just trying to get that as just one group, because those people to me were the most important at the beginning. I watched Adam's stuff all the time, and him helping through some of the legal stuff and all that. I mean, that was really important. But then the technical side, like Sybil and Maj up in the San Jose area, New York. I'd love to meet Christian and talk to him about the formation of the FOA. The marketing side, you and Brian. Trying to get the UK side or the Europe side as much as possible, because I don't really know their story, and I know it's quite different to our story. So talking to Jose Bardi, I think that's his name.
Yep, Jose de Bardi.
And then everybody is kind of giving me other people to consider. And so it's going to be the hard thing, is whittling this down into just a movie. And perhaps it doesn't end up being a movie. Perhaps this ends up being multi-part, because there's just so many stories. I was telling you earlier, your story of the salvage is probably my favorite thing so far, and I was sad that it was only like 15-20 minutes, because I know there's some stories in there that you didn't keep. In that drive home you were repairing the car, that alone's a movie.
I spent a lot of time in my career being taught that shorter is better, and I'm seeing that that's really, it's kind of like ingrained in my personality in certain ways, and I'm trying to get rid of that in some areas of what I do, because some people really do enjoy the longer version of a story. And like when we're traveling across country, I was thinking about all the things that happened to us and like what would fit in the video and what wouldn't. And we definitely cut out a lot of things, because I was just like, I just don't see how people are going to keep watching for all these minutes. But it's really nice to hear from you that it would have been good to include more. There's a lot of people out there though that are making a big difference in the Fisker Ocean story, and so I like the names that you're mentioning a lot. I think as much as possible, I would like to instill in the idea for this film that having a wide range of opinions is really good, because if there's one thing that we know about this car is that there's a lot of opinions out there and a lot of differing opinions, and that's okay. It doesn't there's not like a right way to do certain things, right? Like we all know how to take care of our cars. There are right ways to take care of your car. Mm-hmm. But there's also something very deeply personal about owning this vehicle, and the experience that we've all had it's led us to believe certain things. And I think there are people out there who just see things very differently. So as you encounter some of those personalities, dig in. It's going to be really good. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting comments made, and I do hope that you get the side of the story that's, from other angles and other perspectives. I think it'd be good for people to hear all that.
Yeah, it really is a remarkable story. I mean, sometimes when I just have time to think, it's like, man, this has been a weird journey. Like, this is remarkable in the history of car manufacturing. Nothing like this has ever happened before. I've told you some of the stuff about the DeLorean. I was pretty involved in that community, and this was pretty close to it when I bought my Fisker. That was kind of in my mind, is this car may not make it, but it'd be neat to go along a journey with some people. And wow, I never thought it would be like this. This is pretty cool.
You owned a DeLorean, right?
Yeah, for about 5-6 years.
Wow.
And that was quite a journey too. Got to meet John, a lot of people involved. My wife and I were working on a movie for a while called Room 501, which was about Gerald Scotti, the guy that arrested John.
Okay.
And man, that's a remarkable story. If you ever want to go down a rabbit hole, like, people have opinions about John, but he was not guilty. Like, he was totally trapped. And the guy that I was interviewing was the guy that started the case, and he's the main defense witness. He was really the only person they ever called. His life ended tragically, so I lost the rights to it at that time. But it was a fascinating story, and I hope I can tell that at some point. I was selling D.A. Pennebaker's film for a while. He had an unfinished DeLorean film, and that was a neat journey. Somebody I knew in the DeLorean community made framing John DeLorean, and he asked for my help on all the background of Gerald Scotti and what had happened on the case. And so when this car came out, I'm like, this feels like the same exact feeling that I had with the DeLorean, except it's a modern car. So.
Okay. So you owned a DeLorean for 5 or 6 years. You now own 2 Fisker Oceans. Tell me about that. Why do you own 2?
I'm not the richest guy in the world, and so when the Fisker came out, all I could afford was the Sport. Like, it wasn't that bad of a price for an electric car. Mm-hmm. We've had quite a few EVs. We had the Volt, Chevy Volt, Mini Cooper EV, Tesla, and so I couldn't really swing with my wife buying an $80,000 car. So I got the Sport, and I love it. My family's not a big fan of it. We had some relatives die recently and left us a little bit of money, and so I convinced my wife to let me buy a cheap Fisker One. And I found one for about $12,700 in Florida, had it shipped over, had some issues, but with FOA, Mountain Ranger, YouTubers, I was able to fix everything that we found. New issues pop up. My son found a creaking bar across the solar panel that we're currently working through, but man, this car is nice. It's beautiful. It's a black one with a white interior, and family's starting to come around. Tried to get a third one, that didn't go over well. I showed my wife your salvage video, and I'm like, wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, she just walked out of the room. So.
Well, as a guy who owns 2 Oceans, what do you do with 2 Oceans? How do you have 2 of them? Like, do you and your wife both share them?
No, so the black one, the Ocean one, is kind of our main car that we drive daily. Our Tesla got up to 60,000 miles super fast, and so that's kind of our new daily driver. And then the Sport, which is really pretty, it's the Blue Planet. Mm-hmm. It's going to my son, who's starting, he's becoming a vet on June 22nd, and he's been using our minivan for 4 years.
Cool.
And so I think he's upgrading.
That's a major upgrade. Absolutely.
We're going to keep the minivan for a while just in case it doesn't take. But
yeah.
I'm really hoping to dump the Blue Planet as part of any deal with Chase, so I can go and get a one. My wife said it should be okay if that happened. But otherwise, it's just going to be my son's car driving to work.
Yeah, I mean the Chase deal for original owners is such a good option because it's like kind of a reset in a way. Like you don't get all your money back, obviously, but you get some of it, and then you can use that to buying a secondhand one from an auction site or from even like local dealers and stuff for such a good price. So it just
I
makes
did get
sense.
one offer, but it was really bad. Like I had to give them like $20,000 for them to take the car off my hand, and all I got was like a discount off of a Rivian,
No,
and I was like, oh.
no, no.
And I love my car. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I just wanted like $500 off, and I would have been fine. But
yeah.
I'm still hoping something happens there because I'd really like to own another one, Fisker Ocean one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, you asked me a question earlier about what my favorite thing about the ocean is. So I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite thing?
Oof, that's a hard question. I really love the car. Like, there's just so many things about it. Right now, the thing I like the most is that I own an $80,000 car and I paid nothing for it. I mean, I just feel like I got a deal. I spent a lot of time online reading about the Fisker, watching FOA stuff, watching the YouTubers. I mean, I spend 5 to 6 hours a week, which isn't normal for owning a car. And so I feel like I'm amortizing it right now by getting another one. And it's turned into something kind of cool because like now I'm doing PKC updates in Austin. We lost the person that was doing it there for some reason, so I'm doing those now. Those are pretty scary. My first one didn't quite
You did a great job.
go well.
We were there. We were there. We saw it. It was good.
Dilip, thank you for your patience. We got that going. I'm gonna try to start helping write some code for Undercurrent. I met with those guys the other day, and I think I can help there. I just feel like instead of sucking from the community, I should try to give back a little bit.
Cool.
I don't know how successful the movie will be or the code or anything, but I'm one that just jump in and move forward, and things usually work out, and I'm meeting really cool people as part of that.
But see, this is, I think, the whole thing right now. This is one of the things that I'm noticing that's happening a lot with FOA members is people are coming up with all kinds of really good ideas and running with them. And that's the whole point. Like, this should not be something where like the FOA team or volunteers are the ones leading in all of these different avenues. Like one member came up to me at a PKC meetup that we had, and he was like, look, I work on radars at the Navy. Like, this is my job. Radar systems is what I do. It's my bread and butter. So if there's anything with the radars on this car that you all are having trouble with or that I could help with, he's like, I would love to get involved in some way, shape, or form. And for me, that's the kind of comment that just means so much, because it's like, you have this expertise, apply it to the car, and maybe we can figure out a way to improve how the radars in the car talk through the whole ADAS system. And if there's a way to make this system work better, let's do it, let's figure it out. Or if there's a way to revisit the topic of homologation and things that are a little bit more complicated, maybe there are people in the community who have that skill set, and why don't we use it? Like, everybody has something to offer, I think. And more than that, as a member of the community, like, you feel, I think, better having a skill that you could contribute to Undercurrent, right? Like, you're a software guy, you know how to write code. So if there's something that you could do to benefit Undercurrent, like, absolutely, 100%. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, and I know people are kind of dropping like flies because our cars get smashed, and then some people don't really want to stay in the community without the ocean, and probably not going to buy another one. And so I know we're going to be losing people. And so that's kind of also my thought is I'm never going to, this is my last car. It may not be the two I own, but it will be an ocean. And so as I move forward, I'd like to be able to help out keeping these cars going, for my benefit as well as for everyone else's, because this feels like the car I want to drive for the rest of my life in some shape or form. But, eventually they're all going to be gone, and miles are going to get high, and batteries are going to die. So I'm kind of getting excited that we're getting closer to like American Lease getting out of their area, because there's going to be more out there, and more parts. So I think we're going to be able to keep these cars going for a long time.
I think we will too. I mean, I think American Lease is going to run their cars for a while longer, but I think ultimately those cars will come back into the general circulation. And by that time, the things we're going to be able to do with these cars is going to be incredible. Like, electric vehicles are simpler to maintain than gas vehicles. So as long as we can take care of all the basics, like waterproofing and making sure the software is at 2.2 or up, like, taking care of the door handles and just general maintenance of the cars, which I know American Lease is doing, by the time those cars get back into circulation and by the time the cars that we are all taking care of are 5 years down the road, I think that they're going to be just chugging along happily.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some things we don't know. There's like lubrication questions that we don't totally understand, like how often we should be changing, you know, like gearbox oil, or, you know, the brake question is always popping up in forums. But we will figure those things out. If we figured out all this stuff up until now, just wait until all that stuff gets figured out. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I really don't.
You asked my favorite thing. Do you want to know my least favorite thing?
Least favorite?
Is that I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Every noise, every light. I'm like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
Something's happening.
Yeah.
You know, and every person in the family has found something. I'm just like, okay. I got to enjoy it for a few weeks before a new stress ball opened up. But it's kind of remarkable. Like, I've replaced the door handles on my car, and after I did it, I'm like, you know, I should offer this to people because it wasn't, now I got it down. Like, I can do that pretty quickly. And that's kind of how I feel with everything, is somebody's going to be out there that's going to have a video. Somebody's going to be able to help me. The amount of content and the FOA, you know, the search capabilities there, the creek. Somebody had the creek problem, so now I have an idea to try when I get home. So it's pretty cool.
It is, and I think that waiting for the shoe to drop feeling, unfortunately, comes with having a car that is known to be a little less reliable in certain situations. But I'll be honest, with my two cars, Ellie, that came from California, is now so rock solid that like it's just jump in and drive. I don't even think about it. It's my first Ocean that's the problem child, and that's the one that comes up with random alerts and random things showing up in DTC reports and stuff that look a little scary sometimes. And I know I can keep trying to fix things and keep working on it, but of my two cars now, I look at Ellie and I'm just like, you are just fantastic.
Do you think your first Ocean might be like a little mad like Christine, that you took the rotator out? Or
I do believe cars have personalities, and I think Dina has always just been, that's my original Ocean, Dina. I think that one has just been, there's been a lot of testing done on that car. I knowingly have done a lot to that car to try different techniques and different methods and different updates. And ADAS for a long time was really screwed up because I was doing all kinds of stuff to it. So it's just got different problems that I'm probably mostly responsible for, but it's just been an interesting car since I got it. So.
Can we talk about your 500 boosts and the fact you haven't used them yet?
Actually, this is a question for everybody out there. If you're watching this, we need to know in the comments if you have used any of your boosts and what happens when you try to use them now, because I'm convinced that whatever that ticker was, or software or server or something on Fisker's side that was keeping track of all those boosts, I think that it's offline now. I don't know. This is my theory.
I'm trying to think of FOA video ideas for you because I love your videos. How about using up all 500 and see what happens when it hits zero?
That would be a fun experiment to see what happens. I'd like to see the number change on either of my cars. I've never seen it change. Have you? You've never used it?
Oh no, the boost?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've done that. My best friend, I gave him the first boost on my brand new one that I got, and it's strong. Okay. It was so strong he kind of backed off on it.
So you've used how many?
2 on that one.
Two?
We tried the first one and it didn't go well, so the second one we did, and it is remarkable. I mean, my Tesla, it kicks butt. It's really powerful, but I think this really takes it. It's shocking. When I drive around in hyper mode, is that the orange one?
Yep.
It's scary. Like, you just barely touch the pedal and that thing goes. It's like whiplash. The Sport, it doesn't have any of that. It's not that powerful.
So what did the DeLorean have that the Fisker Ocean doesn't have?
The cool doors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
It had a different community. Like, one of the weird things is I didn't know how Irish it was. And so we got to drive in the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Chicago a couple of times with our doors open. And that's pretty remarkable. That door was complicated. It's like an aerospace engineering torsion bar. And that thing would eventually start to sag over time, and your doors would kind of droop. And it's even in Back to the Future when Marty hits his head. So that was him hitting his head, and they kept it in there because they keep drooping. And so there was a guy in Chicago, Dave Swingle, who got something and would take people's doors for them and didn't charge anything. And
wow.
yeah, the doors on that are pretty special.
Really special. I have a friend in Chicago actually who has not only a DeLorean, but he got it kitted out so it looks exactly like Back to the Future. And he takes it to like car shows and birthday parties and all kinds of stuff. And he just loves that thing.
I looked at buying another one. I sold mine back in like 2006, and I looked at getting another one, and the price is through the roof now. Like I sold mine for 15,000, and it was in really good shape. And I looked, and they're like 80 now.
Wow.
It's like, no, can't do that.
Yeah. Well, I think hang on to your Oceans then, because you never know. They could be. This is true, actually. The prices are going back up. There was a recent auction for an Ocean that had like 76 miles or something. It was like brand new, and it sold for 27,000.
I was watching that auction.
That was amazing. It went really high.
And early in the auction, it was already in the 15, 16,000.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. I think with the war, maybe people are starting to try to get EVs, and
Yeah.
they hear about what y'all are doing, and like, hey, it's not a bad deal. My brother was interested in getting one. My oldest brother, he saw everything I'm doing, and he's like, that's pretty cool. But I was like, Mike, you don't have that personality. he gets very stressed, and he would not be able to handle. I mean, because the car is a little stressful.
Yeah.
It has some moments.
I had an offer for Ellie over the weekend that I actually turned down, but somebody was really eager to buy it, and I'm like, that's flattering, thank you. I'm not ready to sell her yet. She's still.
Does your wife know about the offer?
Oh yeah. We talked about it. It was very like, okay, we were doing the math, doing the calculations, and thinking like, does it make sense to sell now or should we wait? And we decided we're gonna wait. It's okay. I mean, I think that there's just an uptick in interest, and there's also a noticeable uptick in positivity around the car, which I think is really nice to see. So as that mood changes and the story changes, the value of the car is going to continue to rise.
How has your family been over the life of your Fisker involvement? Like, were they excited right off the bat? Were they upset? Like, have they been with you the whole way?
So I have two kids. My oldest is 12 and was basically like in my wife's camp of being like, what are you doing buying a Fisker Ocean? Like the two of them were like really not thrilled by this, by the initial purchase. They've since both come around. They both like the car now, which is a big step forward. My wife is even like a fan of what I've been able to do with Ellie, because Ellie is running so well that we're really happy with that car. But my wife is a ID4 driver. That's her daily, and she's just the kind of person who gets in, wants to have CarPlay, her podcast, sunglasses on, and drive. Like that's it. Very little fuss. But she gets into the Fisker and she's like, what do I do? How do I turn it on? Like, what is it? What does this do? And just a million questions. You know, why is it beeping at me and all these things? And so it's just never going to be her car.
I'm surprised by how much CarPlay has affected the enjoyment of the car. Like, I don't really use CarPlay much, and man, it's so nice.
It is. It's a nice feature. And with Pulse, you can enjoy that if you want to, but it's still not like, I'll give Volkswagen some props on this. Their software is boring. The ID4 is a boring car, but it is super reliable. And there's something about that where you just hop in, CarPlay's on, you drive, and you're good. With the Fisker, even with Pulse, it's like there's a little bit more effort to make things work, but then when it's working, it is a way better driving experience, better range, better overall experience, comfortable, fun, exciting, fast. I mean, it's got all these perks, right? Mm-hmm. You have to kind of get over that little initial hump. Now, I will say I have two kids, right? So my 4-year-old is a super fan. He's even ranked like the cars that we have, because we have 4 cars, right? We have a 63 Citroen Duchevaux. That's his number one. He loves that car. It's super fun. And then he's like, my second favorite is the Fisker. My third favorite is the Fisker. And oh yeah, we have a Volkswagen, whatever. He doesn't care. He loves the other cars a lot. So yeah, he's a huge fan.
My oldest and I are working on my dad's 1600 Roadster, 1966. And it's kind of weird to bounce between the one, working on that, and working on the Datsun, because they're both kind of easy to work on in a way. Man, we did a lot with the Datsun too. We replaced a bunch of stuff, got the brakes working, replaced the fuel pump, and then I took it in to a mechanic, and he was like, this car is a death trap. You've done everything wrong.
Oh.
So far the Ocean's been a little bit more rewarding. So I kind of gave up on the Datsun, and we have it in the shop now. Just,
yeah.
I don't know. I thought if the brakes worked and the gas got to the engine, that I did a good job, but they didn't like what I did.
Well, maybe they're right, or maybe they're just protecting their turf. You never know. But no, I will say working on the Citroen for me is like it's just a very simple car. Like if the spark plugs are clean and it's got good oil and like the battery is charged and everything, it'll start, then you basically don't have any problems. Like the car just keeps going for a really long time.
Does it have a big community keeping them going?
If you were to compare the Citroen community with the Fisker community, it's kind of like going from a library with the Citroen community to like a party with the Fisker community.
That's good.
Like the Citroen community is very calm, relaxed, reserved. Everybody kind of does their thing, and they're nice, they're helpful, but like there's very little spark. It's just kind of like, you can send a message out and like a couple days later somebody will get back to you, but it's not the kind of enthusiastic, helpful response that you get from the Fisker community.
One of my biggest surprises with the Fisker is that we're not doing, rallies or meetups. That just seemed like something people would be doing by this point.
With Fiskers?
Yeah, like big get-togethers where we get pretty photos in front of nice things.
Well, guess what? I have a couple ideas for that. So first of all, and this is like a shameless plug to the June 7th second anniversary meetups. We are organizing one here in this space in DC. We've already got like over 10 or 12 people signed up. I don't know how many people are going to come. It could be 30, it could be 20, I have no idea. But a lot of people are going to come, and we're going to be on Zoom for everybody to see in the town hall, which is really fun. And then other people are organizing other meetups in other places. So the idea is that we're all going to be able to like turn our cameras on to like put the spotlight on different meetups happening in other places. So Texas might be one of them. You can get a couple people. California, we'll have people in, I think Gita was saying that they might have like a Danish barbecue. So there's going to be a lot of cool things happening on June 7th. But then I think this is maybe more in to your point. I was thinking every year where I live, there's a Thanksgiving Day parade. And I usually take the Citroen out in that parade. But I was thinking maybe this year I'd get a couple of the Fisker Ocean people to join me and have a Fisker Ocean California mode, go through the parade with our cars. It'd be really cool, don't you think?
That'd be cool. Don't use the boost there.
It would be fun though, because like my kids could actually be in the car safely and like waving to people because the roof will be open. And in the parade, you always bring like bags of candy and chuck it out
That's
the car.
cool.
So it'd be really fun.
Yeah, the weirdest thing is that I see Fiskers around Austin. There's a white one that I see quite a bit, and I kind of want to know who it is, and because I know they've gone through the same thing I've gone through in some shape or form. Might be some self-healing that I need or something, but I want to know who these other crazy people are that are driving these things around. My son got chased down on the highway the other day by a Fisker, and he saw it coming up behind him, and he was like, uh-oh. And lady got up next to him just to wave at him.
Oh, nice.
He complained about it, but I think he liked it. The whole family's gone through quite a bit with the car, so we're all healing in some ways emotionally sometimes.
Yeah. There's a lot of people here in this area. It's surprising how open the owners are in the DC area to meeting up. Like we have PKC meetups, and sometimes people just want to come just to hang out for a couple hours. So they'll get their update and then stay for another hour and a half just to hang out.
Wow.
Which is really nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think we'll have a really good turnout for the anniversary, but I just really like the owners in this area. I used to be the guy who, like when I first got the car, if I saw another Fisker, which is super rare, you don't actually see them around the city that often, but I did see one on my bike ride home, and I actually like swerved to go to the other side of the road so that I could wave and then get their attention. And I was like, I had that car. The guy thought I was totally nuts. I mean, who is this guy on a bike?
I'm really looking forward to meeting Christian somewhere in New York because I really want to go take a ride in New York City in one of the ones that American Lease loans out.
Yeah.
I'm imagining that like all of New York is just Fiskers, so I assume they're still rare to see there, but
you need to see that. So and Christian is upstate New York, but you're going to fly into New York and then go drive to.
He said he'd meet me in the city.
Oh, he would?
Mm-hmm. But
cool.
All the meetings that y'all have, the town halls, kind of want to see his house because every time I'm behind him,
it's beautiful, isn't it?
It looks like a nice house.
But if he's willing to come to the city, you guys should take some Ubers around the city and catch a couple ocean rides.
I'm looking forward to that.
I think I've often wondered if those drivers are allowed to say anything or if there's like a NDA against talking, especially to FOA people. But like, just to know what their experience is like.
I plan to ask,
You should.
Yeah, see what
you
happens.
can film some of it. That'd be great. Get their permission and just, ask a billion questions.
We'll have videos of them, but their faces blurred,
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll tell you, like, it's probably a great car a lot of the times, but then when it's like raining or the conditions are just right, their passengers are probably getting driven crazy by all those ADAS beeps and stuff, you know. But well, cool. So you're gonna meet with a lot of people from FOA. I think it's awesome what you're doing with this project, and I will definitely be helping you as much as I can. But I wanted to say, for anyone who's watching this episode and just generally a part of the FOA community, if you have ideas, we want to hear about them, right? Like anyone else that you should interview, and if anyone wants to help, by all means, like, it'd be really cool to get more people involved.
Cool, I appreciate it, and thanks for all the help today too.
Yeah, well, we were thrilled that you're here in DC, and I hope that we can hear from you as you make progress on this documentary. But more than anything, thank you for making the trip.
Thank you.
All right, cool. We're good.